Hello, everybody. Cassandra Bibas here. Welcome to our first Massive Action Monday episode. I am your business coach, your fear to fuel expert, and an author of a number of books about overcoming fear. If you want to check out my books, go to amazon.com/author/Cassandra Bibas. I'll also post a link underneath this video so you can grab my author profile and check out all my books. So, Massive Action Monday, what is that? Well, in Massive Action Monday, I'm going to give you a tip on how to turn your fear into fuel, on something that you can do this week to take your fear, turn it into courage, and take massive daily actions in pursuing your dream. And in today's Massive Action Monday episode, here's the tip. Don't let your fear decide your future. Don't let your fear decide your future. So often what we're doing is we're feeling fear about things, uncertainty, doubt steps in. I always, in one of my books I said, fear never arrives without an entourage. You know how the celebrities have their entourage? Kim Kardashian has her entourage. Everybody's got their entourage. Well, so does fear. And usually that entourage has things like worry, doubt, mistrust. Those three are typically the entourage that come along with any fear. So when you're feeling afraid, when you're feeling like you don't know whether this dream is the right dream to pursue, the tip that I can give you to take massive action is don't let fear decide your future. So you might be saying, okay, that's fine. How do I not let fear decide my future? If I want to start a business, but I'm afraid to leave my day job, if I want to find my soulmate, but I'm afraid to get into another crummy relationship, if I want to buy a house, but I'm afraid of, what if I choose the wrong one? What if it needs a lot of fixing? How do I go from being afraid to taking massive daily action? How do I not allow fear to decide my future? And here are 3 things I want to tell you about that. When I say, don't let fear decide your future, the first thing you want to do with that tip is this. Understand that fear-based decisions rarely work out. Fear-based decisions do not lead to great results. And if you just get super clear on anytime I'm coming from a place of fear, anytime I'm making a decision that really is about, I'm afraid to do this, so I'm going to do that to avoid dealing with what I'm afraid of. No. You don't want to make that decision, because any decision made out of fear is typically going to take you down a path you don't want to be in. So how do you know you're making a fear-based decision? I'll help you out. Here's a little question you can ask yourself anytime you're going to make a decision. 2 questions. Number 1, if I weren't afraid, which way would I go? That's a very straightforward question. If you say to yourself, you've got 2 alternatives, and you say, if I weren't afraid, which way would I go? Your intuition is going to answer instantly. Your intuition is going to tell you which way you would go. And that answer is the answer you need to pay attention to. It's the route you need to really look at. Because if you weren't afraid, what would you do? If I wasn't afraid, which option would I take? Which route would I go? That's the first question you can ask yourself, if you want to be sure that the decision you're making isn't based on fear. The second question you want to ask yourself anytime you want to see if you're making a certain decision out of fear or not is this. Is this fear or is this love? Whenever you're making a decision, you want to remember, when you're coming from a place of love, fear is not there with you. So either you're acting out of love or you're acting out of fear, but you're not acting out of both at the same time. So when you're going to make a decision, if you want to be sure that it's not a fear-based decision, because fear-based decisions rarely work out, you need to say, am I doing this out of love, or am I doing this out of fear? Is this decision that I'm making coming from a place of love, or is it coming from a place of fear? So if you want to not allow fear to decide your future, you want to be sure that you remind yourself fear-based decisions rarely work out. The second thing you want to do, if you want to be sure that fear is not deciding your future, is you need to take the action afraid. You need to take the action afraid. And when I say take the action afraid, what I really mean is you've got to get into a place where you say, this is the decision that's coming from a place of love. This is the decision that I feel I really need to make here. I'm going to do it whether I'm afraid or not. I'm going to do it whether I feel afraid or not. I'm going to take the action afraid. And typically what I tell people is take the next 3 steps afraid. Like maybe you can't figure out, okay, I want to buy a house, so I'm going to take the action of afraid. Maybe the idea of closing on a house is too big a thing for you to really process right now because there's so much fear. So what are the next 3 steps you need to take on your way to buying a house? Maybe it's pull your credit score. Maybe it's call a mortgage broker. Maybe it's find a realtor. Those are smaller steps that can get you to the goal, but take the next 3 steps afraid, knowing that the fear is not going anywhere. It's going to be there. You're going to experience that, but take the next 3 steps afraid. And the third thing that I want to tell you before we end this Massive Action Monday thing is really something you got to do before you even take the next 3 steps afraid. And it's this. When you're considering your options and you know that fear is in the building, it's on the premises, explore the opposite path first. What do I mean by that? If fear would have you go south, look at the north option. If fear would have you not buy a house and continue to rent a condo, definitely go in the direction of buying a house. Meaning fear will give you information, and typically, since fear is a liar, it's not the right information. So when you're exploring your options, before you even take the next 3 steps afraid, make sure that you're exploring the opposite path of what fear is telling you to do. So what am I saying at the end of the day? Massive Action Monday. Don't let fear decide your future. By 1, reminding yourself that fear-based decisions never work out. Number 2, when you're considering your options and exploring them, explore the opposite path of what fear is telling you to do. And number 3, take the action afraid. Take the next 3 steps afraid. Know that fear is going to be there and do it anyway. Again, Massive Action Monday, Cassandra Bibas here. Follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/Cassandra Bibas. I'm always posting stuff about fear. You can also check out all of my Overcoming Fear books on Amazon, amazon.com/author/Cassandra Bibas. And of course, definitely follow me on Twitter @Cassandra Bibas and visit my site, CassandraBibas.com. All right, next week, another Massive Action Monday.